Hello and welcome to the final part of my Zoom tutorial series. Today we're just going to recap and enlarge upon some ideas that we've discussed throughout the series. Okay, so here's some tips and ideas for using Zoom. Remember, as Neil Armstrong once said, it's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Using these online services might seem like a giant leap for you, but you can do it. Believe that you can do it. Let's continue. Okay, let's look at backgrounds. Okay, we looked at backgrounds before. We looked at virtual and physical backgrounds. So if you're going to use a virtual background, make sure that it's appropriate. You know, I suggested before that a photo of your classroom, but something that is appropriate for the students would be good as well. It could be a desktop wallpaper that has an educational theme. Okay, there's a whole variety of things you could choose from that would be an appropriate virtual background in Zoom. But what if a virtual background is an option? I mean, you might not have a cardboard box behind me like I have. Okay, so you need to think about the room. Okay, if you're a business manager or someone in an office and you're doing a business meeting, then your office in your home or a tidy lounge room might be totally appropriate. If you're a classroom teacher, it might not be totally appropriate, okay? Whatever the location is, make sure that whatever people see behind you is tidy and presentable. Remove anything personal. It might be nice in some situations to have a family photo there, but that's about as far as it should go. Try and keep the personal things out of the meeting, because in the end, you probably wouldn't have this at a board meeting, and you probably would not have this in your school classroom, okay? So, I mean, actually, look, you might have a photo of your family on your desk or something like that, but if you're standing up at the whiteboard or blackboard teaching a lesson, there's not going to be a photo of your family beside you or behind you. So have a think about that. And I would suggest perhaps using an appropriate shower curtain. Now, you might think that sounds like nuts, but you know, before I got my current job, I was teaching online with a Chinese company. And we always had to make sure we had an appropriate background behind us. And I had a fixed backdrop that worked really well for me. It was just two plastic doors that I'd attached together with hinges so they could be folded up, put out of the way, and I had posters and pictures on it, right? But for 5 weeks, I had to go back to Australia to help my elderly parents. So I needed something portable. So I bought a shower curtain. Have a look at these, okay? So the top right, you've got an alphabet style. You've got just a nice, fruity, tropical type one, which would be great for here in Phuket. You've got a maritime style curtain here. You've got a map of the world, another under the water one here, and Minecraft. That might even be good for a digital class, okay? I have digital education classroom, I mean. So there are some shower curtains out there that are actually really, really good for use as a background. And what you could do, you could just pin it to the wall behind you. If you're actually positioned close to a wall, you just put it on the wall. Clothesline, and just hang the shower curtain on the clothesline. You know, whatever works. But I can tell you now, it worked well for me for those 5 weeks. The kids liked it. So that's a good possibility for you. Okay? Now, sharing a desktop. Do share individual windows or share a portion of your screen, but don't share your whole screen. There's going to be stuff there that people should not be seeing, like alerts for important or confidential emails, romantic messages from your spouse, whatever it might be. Okay, don't share your whole desktop. Share individual windows or a portion of your screen. Okay, you can connect up Zoom to your cloud services so that you can share files. Do this though for the first time before your meeting. Just do a false, like a dummy meeting, a demo meeting, whatever you want to call it. But just get Zoom connected to your cloud service before you do your online meeting or class or whatever it is, because you don't want to be going through the whole signing in process of connecting Zoom to Google Drive or whatever it might be with people watching. Do it beforehand so that when you're actually doing your meeting or your class, you're good to go. So headphones and microphones, this is really important. You want to make sure that you can be heard clearly and that you can hear other participants clearly. Okay, and you also, actually, just throw another point, you need appropriate lighting. Make sure that you have appropriate lighting there. You want to be well lit. You don't want to have shadows on one half of your face. Like, okay, I've deliberately used poor lighting right now, so you can see like what this part of my face here is brighter than this part. Okay, it's not a huge difference, but it's an example of how poor lighting might be a problem. Okay. One option that I've used is a strip light. It's about this long. It's an LED strip light, bright white actually, and I had that sitting in front of me so it would illuminate my face properly. Okay, that might sound like it might be hard on the eyes, but surprisingly no. If it's not directly at your eyes, it's not so hard on your eyes. LEDs are far more tolerable than other forms of light. Okay, for cameras, you need to make sure you have a good camera. Most laptops have webcams built in them, but as my laptop testifies, it's a pathetic camera. Okay, it's not good. I'm using a desktop computer here with a Logitech brand webcam on it, and this one has a built-in microphone, as you can see here. Okay, this is the actual unit that I'm using, and it works well. So I've got a camera and I've got a microphone, and I'm heard quite well. But with that too, you're going to need headphones, because if you're using the computer speakers, you're going to get feedback. It's like an echo, 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 echo. It's awful sometimes. So make sure you get a good pair of headphones. Now these headphones, these two examples, have built-in microphones. Now one thing I do is I use a webcam app called ManyCam, and this allows me to mix audio. So while recording this video, I'm actually mixing audio from a webcam and a microphone. So that means that I've got a microphone on my monitor, which is, what, 1.5 feet away from me, and I've got a microphone up close. So I've got a better reception of sound for the recording that I'm making now, or for a meeting that I'm doing another time. Okay, another option is to use regular headphones with a microphone, or the webcam mic if you've got one like mine. Okay, so I actually have this microphone. It's pretty good, and those headphones, I don't have those ones, but they're an example of headphones that you can use. Okay, so you can use a combination of things, right? I would suggest that maybe the microphone built into cheaper headsets, like the one on the left. Actually, the one on the right is sort of cheap, low price to mid-range, I think. They're not going to be so good. So you probably want something a little bit better than that anyway. So think about a better microphone so that you can be heard well. Now the environment. Oh boy, I tell you what, throughout this series I have done many retakes on my video because the birds outside the window here have made me laugh or whatever, or just distracted me. Okay? Now I don't actually mind it. I don't mind having to cut the video and editing it. That's fine. But for a meeting, that might be a distraction. So think about, is the background sounds like birds chirping, is it going to be helpful, or is it going to be a distraction? If it's just the birds, for me, I'm fine. I like that. But if it's dogs barking and motorcycles tearing through, that's going to be a problem. So think about the background noise, okay? Try and eliminate it as much as possible. You might not be able to eliminate it, let's face it. If you're in a home with poor sound deadening in the walls like mine, you're not going to be able to eliminate the sound, but you might be able to reduce it a bit by shutting windows and doing things like that. Okay, well, yeah, window might be shut anyway if you've got the aircon on, but whatever. Whatever is appropriate for you. And personal manner, how you talk, how you present yourself. I'm still learning this one. I haven't got it right. I have a bad habit of saying okay too much. I'm sure you've noticed that. But just think about how you look, how you sound as you speak. And dress tightly. I mean, I'm just in a casual t-shirt at the moment. Okay, but for, there I go again. I said okay again. I didn't need to. But for a business meeting or a classroom situation or a church, you want to be dressed appropriately for those situations. So if I'm going to be doing Zoom for my digital education class, For example, I'm going to be dressed in my school uniform that all teachers are required to wear, or at the very least, very good casual clothing. So this photo here is from Forbes.com. They own the copyright to it, but I'm just showing you this photo as an example of a nice, tidy atmosphere. The person is well dressed, well presented, a nice smile, and so on. Okay, so think about how you present yourself. So this is the final episode of this series. I may add more if I find something that needs to be covered, but for now this is the final episode. I hope it's been of help to you, and I hope that you will have some really great Zoom sessions. Be encouraged and take that giant leap. Bye-bye.